We have all drilled in our heads that goals help pave the way to success, and in most cases that actually holds true. So then why is such a seemingly simple philosophy one that has such low success rates? Why do we all set our goals or resolutions and then fail to achieve them for some reason? No, I don't claim to be an expert on the subject, but I am offering a different take on why goals seem to fail more often than they should. In this video, we will look at 3 reasons why our goals seem to fail, and then look at what we can do differently in the future.
Kreative Reef.
Jump in.
To begin with, I think goals fail for 3 simple reasons. 1, we don't really understand how goals work. 2, we don't set them right. And 3, sometimes we set goals that weren't even real goals to begin with. I know that my last sentence must have surprised you, and I'd like you to remember that visual, as we will revisit that later on. So let's look at the first point. Nowadays, most educators, consultants, and even our society overly emphasize goals as being a strategic self-management tool. Throughout my professional life, I have been conditioned to focus on the structural aspects of goals and seldom on the inspirational drivers. We are fixated on how our goals need to be specific, measurable, attainable, and time-specific. Yes, all that's super important in helping us achieve goals, but that's just an execution plan. Nothing more, nothing less. So, if you manage to lose 5.3 kilos in 7.5 days for your friend's wedding that was 11 days away, that wasn't really a goal, but merely just a project in the context of a goal. Let's now look into our second point of how we don't set goals right, and what better place to look than where it all happens, the human mind. If you look at the human mind, it has 2 hemispheres, the left one that processes logic, and the right side governs emotion. It's almost like you have 2 different people living inside your head, and that's where the problem begins. We don't understand the beautiful relationship the 2 hemispheres of the brain have on our behavior. Most tips I've read on making efficient goals seem to focus on the do's and don'ts of success, or in other words, the logical drivers. You must be ready to become a non-smoker. You must keep away from anything that reminds you of a cigarette. You must want to quit. Yes, those are all valid points, but it's just logical information. And unlike machines, information doesn't move us. Desire does. I'm going out on a limb here when I say many self-development books sell millions of copies primarily because they cater to this logical approach of setting goals. And we love it. Why? Simply because this logical approach seems to show us a clear cause and effect relationship. Work hard and dreams come true. From fat to fit. And from rags to riches. Over time, these statements seem to portray a misunderstanding of entitlement, when in fact, they should be understood as a statement of our own aspirations and accountability. It's funny how easily entitlement and accountability blur in our minds, so let's see how that happens. So let's say you're focusing on losing those 5 kilos for that friend's wedding. You worked hard, ate right, and skipped burgers for over 2 weeks. And when you then step on the weighing scale, anxiously waiting to see what the divine oracle will reveal, you realize you haven't lost anything at all. Instead, you've gained some. What happens? You get angry. Why? Because your preconditioned sense of entitlement kicks in. You say to yourself that I've worked hard but nothing's happened, or this is a waste of time, and you waver off your goal. Accountability, of course, is swept under the rug in your anger. Basically, we all look at ourselves in the mirror when things are going good, but the moment things go bad, we look out the window. Why does this happen? Well, basically because the goal here was one-dimensional and one-dimensional goals seldom work. A powerful goal is never singular. It instead is a target that drives other positive actions. So if you want to lose weight, the real goal should be better health. When you do that, you have hedged your logically governed risks of going off course. So the next time you look at the scale and you haven't lost as much weight as you expected, you still feel good about yourself because your skin looks a little better, your clothes feel a little looser, and you are eating less than before. The singular number on the weighing scale isn't telling you how you should feel. The lesson is, when your goal isn't fixated on a single outcome, you find and build subconscious motivators that help push you on. Life is three-dimensional. We are three-dimensional, and now even our movies are three-dimensional. So why do we make linear, one-dimensional goals? Simply because we pander to our logical mind. One that is trained to see cause and effect. One that expects every action to have an equal and opposite reaction. One that thinks, but doesn't really feel. Now we all have goals based on fascination, which is completely okay, until we fool ourselves into believing in them as actual goals. We need to see the difference between goals that are born out of passion and those that are born out of logical fascination. Remember, numerous things will fascinate us, some that we realize and others we don't, such as life. A Mercedes logically equals wealth. Doing a PhD tells people that I'm pretty smart. Climbing Mount Everest logically tells the world that I'm a badass explorer. And having a swimsuit body logically gives me the ability to attract more females.
Yes, quite absolutely right.
But how many of those are passionate goals versus logical fascinations? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive to buy a Mercedes, but the true goal is a successful career of which the Mercedes is just a small part. See the difference? In life, you really only have enough time to pursue a few true goals, so choose them wisely. Most great leaders all set out with just a handful of goals. Goals based on fascination are not sustainable because it is very difficult to sustain the discipline required in making them happen. When you set goals, you have to search beyond why it logically makes sense and find a passionate connection with it. Because true goals are the result of passion, and the passions are just a reflection of who you really are, deep inside. Now, this isn't aimed at becoming another cliched talk, quitting your job to pursue your passions. Because the truth is, you can find or cultivate a passion in any aspect of life. You could have a passion for fame, a passion for better health, a passion for education, or a passion for platypus conservation. Anything. Because passions are truly your own, passions come from within. Most New Year resolutions just fail because they are logical-driven goals and not passionate ones. We set off saying to ourselves, okay, from the 1st of January, I'm completely off cigarettes. Cigarettes equal bad, bad equals unhealthy, unhealthy equals cancer. That's it, I'm clean from the 1st of January. So the rule here is pretty simple. Quit smoking equals don't smoke. Well, we all know what happens. You quit for a few days and are then back lighting up another cigarette. Then you say to yourself, man, I had quit smoking, but things just got too stressful at work. Or, no, that other guy quit because he can't smoke at home anyway, it's different. Basically, we begin to rationalize why we broke the rules. You make it sound relevant, and slowly you make it real. When Moses came down, he brought down the 10 commandments and not the 10 suggestions. So when you begin to rationalize about why you broke the rule or commandment slowly becomes a suggestion. And that brings us to our last point. So why do we break the rules and why are we scared of them? We break the rules simply because the left and right brain are not empowered equally. Yes, empowerment too has become a fancy word of late. But hear this. According to a Stanford study, it turns out that lower empowered individuals are 8 times more likely to break rules than their higher empowered counterparts. Think of empowerment simply being preparing yourself for the task at hand. The easiest way to deflect all doubt when setting a goal is by empowering your goal. Try empowering yourself next time by asking yourself 3 simple questions. 1. Is it possible? 2. Am I capable of doing it? 3. Will it be worthwhile? While it may seem silly and useless at first, you are connecting a logically driven goal with your emotional mind. You are setting in place an anchor point, a reminder for when, but more importantly, why your goal initially took off. By empowering your left and right mind to work together, you tie a knot of logic and passion to work together towards a common goal. Thanks for being with us today. Like and share this video if it helped show you a new perspective. And yes, subscribe to Kreative Reef for tons of more cool stuff. Cheers.